My first time shipping fish and I'm a little nervous. Okay, so let's learn how to ship some fish. We're gonna start out with a tutorial from Cory from Aquarium Coop, who has shipped his fair share of fish. So get some good advice from him. Then I'm gonna bag up my fish. I'm gonna ship it to Laura, one of the moderators on my channel. Also has her own YouTube channel, so check it out if you want to see where this fish is going and how it ended up, and hopefully if it made it. I'll put a link down in the description. So let's get some quick advice from Cory, and then I'll check back in. Alright, so you guys know I've never shipped fish, total noob. I'm down here with the expert. He's going to show me how, and hopefully, maybe, I can start shipping some fish.
Could be. So, medium flat rate box, that's what we're starting with. We got the styro liners. We get these from aqpkg.com, and they basically come in pieces, and they're all going to interlock. So you got to put it in the bottom. And basically, you've got that so far. We're going to put in a side, and you put that into a corner so that you've got a gap. So you can put the next one in, and it's a tight fit. But then it makes the next gap. And so now it holds, and you've created the L. So another long piece into the corner, and we've got one gap left on the bottom. Works that. So now you've got a box that'll hold itself together. Throw a top on that. Boom. Seal her up, mail her out.
So, what if you're shipping in all this blizzard nonsense that's going on right now?
So then it just comes down to heat pack, and if it's like crazy bad blizzard, there's probably not a lot you can do with this size of box. You probably need to upsize it. So what you would do is use a bigger box, like, well, maybe this one down here, I suppose. You could do something like this, and
oh, I don't know that I want to ship that many plecos.
well, right, but it gives you more room to separate the heat packs from the fish. That's the main thing. Is you might want to use, well, here's a heat pack. You guys haven't seen a heat pack, but that's what that is. You might want to put a lot of distance between the heat packs, and you can use a lot more water because it's easier to keep more water stable at a temperature than a little bit of water. And so, bigger box helps that. In a small box like this, you're afraid that you're only really going to get to use like one heat pack. You might be able to use two. You can get technical, and you can try and use like a 40-hour heat pack and then a 72-hour heat pack, because their peaks are different. So 40 hours, the hottest it gets is going to be at like, you know, that 20-ish hour mark, whereas a 72-hour, the hottest it gets is going to be at like that 36-hour mark. And so you get a more even temperature the whole ride by using two heat packs. That being said, you're going to have two heat packs going, and when one's at full, the other one's still maybe at 1/3. That might be too hot. So what you wouldn't want is lots of heat. If it sits in the blizzard, great. But the minute it's sitting inside the post office, might be getting too hot. So it's really hard to figure out, you know, how you're going to do that. Reptile people, what they do, they use these heat packs. They're kind of awesome. They're like $10 a piece. They're pretty expensive, but they're activated by temperature. So if it gets cold, they turn on and get hot. If it gets too hot, they get cold. And it's this crazy chemical reaction process. And I know they used to ship that with like dart frogs and stuff, but a lot of times in a box this size, you might have $900 or $3,200. And so a $10, it's not even a heat pack, but it's like a temperature regulating pack is, you know, way more awesome. So.
Alright, so like my instance, I'm shipping one pleco, bristlenose, probably be 2.5, maybe 3 inches.
Yep.
When I put them in the bag, how much water to air ratio?
So if it's super duper cold, I would probably try and use the bag so it's about this big, so this much. And then I would probably do 2/3 water, 1/3 air. And that's just that it's probably not going to run out of air. And the more water you have, the more you can buffer that heat to the water. Because if you've got, let's say, 3 ounces of water, you can heat that up really quick. And so you could also cool it down really quick. If you're going to use a breather bag, you could do a giant breather bag in here, and it's all full of water. And then you just put like either a divider with a piece of cardboard or paper and stuff like that to keep the heat pack away from it.
Now I know a lot of people wrap the heat pack with like newspaper. What about any like would you insulate the box at all, or would you just leave it? I mean, like batting, or I don't know what people use. Styrofoam peanuts.
Yeah, you just don't want things to move. That's what you're afraid of, actually. And so a lot of times you're either going to tape the heat pack maybe up here if your fish is down over here. But you can't control how it's going to sit as it travels, right? So you got to make sure nothing moves around. What you don't want is somehow that heat pack slips up and is touching that water. Because one, if a heat pack gets wet, it stops working. So that's already a problem. And then two, if it's directly touching it, heat transfers that heat so much. The other thing you want to make sure you do is you don't seal this up like absolutely perfect. So when you seal this up, put like tape this way, and then like tape from here to here and here to here, but leave these corners open. If you seal it so no air can get in or out, the heat pack actually like suffocates. It has to have oxygen for that reaction. So sometimes people will actually put a hole all the way through it on one side where the heat pack is. Like if the heat pack was here on this side, we'll put a hole right here so that it can always breathe. But I've never done that, and I've never had a problem yet, but I do know some people do that.
Every time I've received one, they've had it wrapped in newspaper. What's the point of that?
I don't think there's a point other than you're going to put a bunch of filler anyway and it looks nicer. I know that if you're going to tape it, you'd much rather tape the paper than the heat pack, because if you put plastic on that heat pack, it's going to seal off that oxygen transfer we were just talking about for that heat pack wherever it touches. And but like that one heat pack I had in there, its whole back was sticky, and so you just stick it to something. It doesn't stick very well, but I think it's mostly because of that. And you don't want plastic bags to touch it either, so it's a barrier. So even if the plastic bag, it all shipped and the plastic bag is directly touching that, the plastic's going to cut off the oxygen. So with that air barrier, or the paper barrier, at least lets a little bit of air through there.
Perfect.
So those are my tips, but shipping in a blizzard, there's no easy way about it. You know, you kind of just go, well, maybe 70 or 80% of my shipments are going to make it, and 20 or 30% aren't.
Well, thankfully, Laura, the person I'm shipping it to, is pretty flexible, so I don't think we'll be shipping it in a blizzard just for the safety of the fish.
It just gets a lot easier, honestly, and so...
I mean, I think we can wait a week.
But I also use these, like why I have these on hand is we'll do this for plants sometimes too when we're shipping into a blizzard and stuff like that. It just depends on what people are ordering, how much they're ordering. The more you order, the easier it is just to put a heat pack in and keep everything warm. So like, if you're worried about ordering fish during a blizzard, and let's say Bob was going to ship you fish, order a ton of fish, because all that extra water in the bigger box makes it way easier. It's when you order very few, it's really hard not to overheat or underheat when it's such a small thing. So.
And buying more is always better.
Yeah. I mean, it makes it a lot easier, and it comes across like a sales pitch, but honestly, it's the same reason why I'll order a ton of fish when it's really cold. Don't order just a little bit. It just gets way harder. And that's from my own wholesalers and stuff. And that's why a lot of people order direct through me, because if they ship one box like this and it's cold out, it's going to get a lot colder than, let's say it's in this box, but it's taped to, you can see how everything's taped. They might tape 5 of these together, and all that heat rises through all those boxes and stuff. And so, you know, and generally a big box like that is treated a little better than this thing, because this thing at the post office just gets chucked. You know, I watch them do it, I hand them, you know, I'm like, all right, yep, you hand it to them, you literally watch them just go like, oh yeah, over there. You know, and I'm going, oh my God. But the reality is, it's going to have that same motion from like every truck to post office, and me stopping that one, in theory, helps, but it really doesn't make that much of a difference. Like, if it can't withstand what I just did, there's no way it's going to make it there. So you just kind of got to go, well, I packed it to endure this. Not fun though. It's not great when you're watching them throw someone's new pet, and your money around. Like, no. And at the same time, when you're at the post office, you don't want to make a big deal how they're fished, because every time I've ever done it, they start wanting to look up codes. Even though I know the codes and everything, if they can't find them in the book, it's a big ordeal. I gotta call the supervisor, all this. You can't be shipping water. And it's just like TSA and flights. Like, no, it specifically says in there if it's fish, you can do this. But until you find that code in their giant book of crap that they don't know, they won't let you do anything with it. So that's why I'm always like, nope, nothing liquid, hazardous, perishable, anything like that. Even though it's both perishable and liquid, it's outside those rules. So.
All right, well, hopefully I'm good.
Yeah, you should be able to do it. Hey, there's that.
Okay, so here's our brave little dude right here. This is a super red bristlenose pleco, about 1.5 inches, maybe pushing 2 inches. Definitely 1.5 inches though. It's got some really nice colors, even though he's pretty stressed out, he or she. So I asked Laura if she had a preference on an albino or just a regular chocolate bristlenose. She said she had no preference, so I'm gonna send her a super red. So I'll be putting a little bit of Seachem Safe in the bag. I will be double bagging it. Oops, there goes that. I got my box all ready, taped up. I need to find some type of filler and then get this fish in a bag. Alright, so here we have the little dude in the bag. You can barely see him in there. He's in there. Got double rubber banded here, so 2 rubber bands. And I'm going to double bag it. So let me do that, and I'll check back in with you. Okay, so here we are, double bagged again. I got 2 rubber bands here, and then here's where the end on the other side is, so the other 2 rubber bands are down here. Seems to be packaged pretty well, got lots of air. I like these bags because they're rounded, so there's less likelihood that he's going to get caught in a crease somewhere, so that's pretty nice. But now, I think I'm going to get some bubble wrap for in here, and we'll get them packaged up. Alright, so I got my heat pack here, just kind of smashing it up here, waiting for it to warm up. I want to make sure it's good. I've had these since last summer. It says they don't expire for another year, so I just want to make sure that it starts to get warm before I pack it in there. Got some more bubble wrap down here, so we're nice and tight there. Like I said, the heat pack will go right there. Just have to get, oh, it's starting to warm up slowly. So one of the advantages this little dude is going to have is that I do keep my bristlenose tanks unheated. They sit at around 70 to 72 degrees. So hopefully he's used to the cooler temperatures, although USPS does have heated warehouses, so he should do just fine. But since this is the first time I've shipped a fish, you know, I am a bit nervous, so. And I don't want anything bad to happen to the fish. And I want Laura to be happy. Alright, so I can feel it starting to warm up. Definitely kicking in, so I'm going to get this wrapped up and in the box. Alright, here we are. Got the heat pack back here. It's definitely getting nice and warm now. I got it in packing paper, this stuff here. And then I got my bubble wrap. There's the fish in bubble wrap. Gonna get it sealed up and off to the post office. Alright, so here's my haul that I gotta take to the post office. Got Laura's fish. I got David's co-op box that he won and got mailed back to me because he didn't give me the right name, David. Some shirts and some other paraphernalia, all going out today. Alright, what do you think you're doing? So we're loaded up, we're headed to the post office, and then gonna stop by my local fish store because there's some tetras I want to order, and then we'll head back. Alright, so that's gonna wrap us up again. I wish that little dude well on his quest and hope that he succeeds in making it to his destination. I did stop by my local fish store, but I was just in and out because my dog needed to do some dog business, so we needed to get home quick. I ordered my tetras. You'll have to wait to see what I got. I also ordered a few other fish and got some fish, but that's all for a different video. This video is about shipping. And again, if you want to see how this little dude turned out, check out Laura's channel. Hopefully it's good news. I'll link it again at the description. It should be popping up. And thanks for hanging out, and I'll see everyone Thursday at 5 p.m. for the live stream.